What's up, everybody? This is Sparrow with a Gun with Sleepless Night Studios, and I am here on our server. This is our FTB server. Now, we're having a little bit of an issue. Bassplaya had some technical difficulties, and since the new patch update thing for FTB went to 8.2.0, he's having a little bit of an issue with his computer, so it has kind of made it hard to do recording, because, yeah, can't get all of our people on. So while he's doing that, I thought I would take the opportunity, because he has been mentioning that I should do this for a while, so we're going to try it, is to do a How to Train Your Turtle series. I don't know how frequently I'll be doing these. It'll just depend on, feedback on this and how it all goes. I haven't done tutorial series before, so might be kind of bad at it. Not sure, so we'll see how it goes. Things you will need to start off, if you don't know this kind of stuff already. Pretty much everything here in this project table will eventually make you a wireless mining turtle. First thing, we're going to make a diamond pick, as always. And you can make turtles with sapphire, ruby, and green sapphire picks as well. The one exception is they cannot mine obsidian. They can mine it, but they can't keep it. They won't get obsidian blocks. So, I recommend, if you're not planning on using it for obsidian, or you don't need obsidian, just use the regular gems. But if you actually want obsidian, then you need to make a diamond pick. So we're going to take stone here. I think I actually have one too many stone. Oh well. Put a glass pane on the bottom. This makes a computer. Now you're going to take the computer in the center, chest on the bottom, one too many iron as well. Surround it with 7 iron, and it makes a turtle. Yay! Now, you're going to put the turtle here, and it does not matter what side you put it on, to my knowledge, because as you can see, puts it the same way. And I read somewhere where even though the icon's the same, where you put the pick depends on what side it is. I don't see that to be the case, so I've put them on both sides and it always comes out on the left for me, so that makes a mining turtle. Now, the reason you need all this other stuff, you need to make a redstone torch, put that in the center, and then surround that with 8 stone. This makes a wireless modem, which can also be put on computers, which we'll get to in a minute. You put this here, and it makes a wireless mining turtle. You don't need this right off the bat. I just like to make them that way so that eventually you can go about using wireless scripting and whatnot. So, of course, it's nighttime. It's always nighttime when you want to do stuff. We're going to, let's see, need to find a good spot so that we're not screwing up anything. You know what, I'm going to grab some torches since we're leaving at night. I didn't think about the time. Yeah, just grab some torches. Okay, now we're leaving. Okay. And of course there's already monsters here. Ooh, I got him. Okay, let's light this up. Whoa, level up. So yeah, we're just gonna light this up for a little ways, just so if I tell him to do anything, he doesn't, Oh, come on! Wait, is my sword on or off? I can't figure it out. Okay, whatever. Okay, now, so you place the turtle by just right-clicking, obviously. Leave me alone, stupid thing. I know I hit you first, but still, go away. Okay, so one of the first things, this is the turtle OS, obviously. So here's his inventory off to the side. The gray square shows what slot they have selected. So the first thing that you can do is, for those of you that don't know but are kind of into programming, Turtles and computer craft in general kind of utilizes Lua script language. If that doesn't mean anything to you, that's not a big deal. It's just for people who actually are experienced with programming but not familiar with Turtles. So one of the first things that you can do is type in programs. This is going to give you a list of all the different programs that are currently on a Turtle by default. Some of it's basic things like copy and move. Really? Leave me alone. Okay. Lua will activate a Lua scripting mode so that you can use that. Craft, I've never actually tried before, but I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe you need a crafty turtle to utilize that. I am not sure on that. It might still be possible without it. Or it might be limited to the 2x2 square like a regular inventory if you don't have a crafting table. Some of this is because of it being a computer, so some of this has computer related, such as eject, where if you had a disk tray and stuff like that, but not all of it is completely relevant to the Turtles per se. You can use it, but it's not used very often. Delete, self-explanatory, blah blah blah. Tunnel is one of the commands that are specific to Turtles, as well as excavate. Both of those are... Really? Go away. Sorry. I'm trying to keep out of our base camp area so that it doesn't mess anything up, and kind of went to an unsecured area. Might move for the next episode. Anyways. So, the other good program to remember is help. Help allows you to type help and then a program name, and it will kind of give you an overview. So, for example, help tunnel. And this explains the tunnel program. The tunnel is a program for mining turtles. They will mine a 3x2 area of the depth specified. Tunnel 20 will tunnel a 20 block long tunnel. So basically, if you hit tunnel, they'll do a 3 wide, 2 tall, for as many spaces as you told it to. If you put 20, it does 20 blocks. The other big thing is to access the Turtle API, which is really where you get into using the turtles. If you're outside of a program and just at the command prompt here, you have to type in Lua and you'll get this, which is the Lua prompt. Now you can actually access I don't remember if, okay, I don't think Lua has a help command. I could be wrong, but I don't remember what it is if it does. So, does it have a clear? No, it does not have a clear. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't think it has a clear. So basically, you could say most everything with turtles starts with turtle and then dot. The dot acts like a member function, and so you can access all of the methods and programs inside the Turtle API. So, say for example forward, and then you close the brackets. Why is it? Oh, it doesn't have any fuel. That's the other thing. You need to give them fuel. I prefer EU power, because there's like the charging stations and so on. But early game, if you build a turtle really early, you'll probably have to use coal or something like that. You know what? Let's just take a stack. Yeah, so you can use lava. Pretty much most of the fuel sources in the game, as far as I believe. You can use like oil buckets, you can use coal, lava. If you build a charging station from miscellaneous peripherals, you can actually just charge them from solar panels and stuff like that. I'm going to type exit to get out of here. You can do it through Lua and the Turtle API commands to refuel them, but it's a lot easier to do it this way. What I usually do if I'm not using EU power is you put a source and you can, if you have nothing but fuel sources in your inventory here, you can kind of do this. You type refuel. I believe, yeah, if you type in refuel, it will use one of the selected square. If you type refuel all, it will use all of them. Seriously? Okay. So it'll use all of them, and if there were more, like if I had 3 stacks of coal, it should switch over and use those also. So now you can see, if you type in refuel and there's no fuel, it'll just tell you what the fuel level is currently, which is 5,000. That's pretty good. Good grief. Go away. Yeah, I'm definitely moving for the next episode. 5,000's pretty good. When you get into the double-digit thousands and stuff, you really don't have to refuel them for a while. I did that one time when I left my turtle on a charging station and forgot about him, and I came back and he had like 250,000 fuel, which I still haven't had to fuel him since. He's just still cranking. The high number of fuel comes into play a lot when you're doing big excavation areas. Like if you tell it to excavate a 40 by 40 or something like that, then you'll need quite a bit of fuel to do that. But for basic turtle functions, they really don't need a huge amount of fuel, but you know, somewhere between 5 to 10,000 is a pretty normal for me, just standard fuel, so you don't have to refuel them every 5 seconds. They use things like making them dig. Like if I put a block here and tell them to dig, that does not use a fuel. If you tell them to move, any kind of movement, up, down, those types of things use fuel. But like if it's in the same block and it turns or digs up, those things, to my knowledge, do not use fuel. We can check that right here actually to double check. So place block here. Now assume this is an ore or something, you know, as it's mining. We'll have to go back into the Lua script so that you can access the turtle, but you can tell it turtle.dig, and see it says true. All of the turtle API functions, to my knowledge, most, if not all of them, return a true or false value. This works great when you're writing your own scripts, because then you can actually test to see whether or not he could dig. So like if I tell him to dig now, but there's nothing in front of him, it'll come back false. So you can use that in your scripts in terms of testing. You can basically check to see if there's something in front of them. You don't always, it's still a good idea, it's good programming practice to do detect commands to see if there's something in and then dig. But you can actually do certain scripts to where it just digs, and you dig while it's not false, and then when it becomes false, move on. That works okay. One of the big problems I found with that is gravel. If you don't make the turtle pause between digs, it will dig and then try and dig again while the gravel's falling, and it won't see it. And so it comes back false. By then the gravel hits the ground, and then the turtle tries to keep going with its next command. So if you have a move command, it won't be able to do that. So it's still really, it's a little bit more time consuming, but it's still a better idea to do things like detecting commands and stuff before doing things. So back to the fuel thing. If we exit out of this, there is a way to do it in Lua. I just prefer to do it this way. So you can see 5,120, 5,120. So digging and stuff does not use fuel. So in theory, if you wanted to make a, you know, a grinder or some kind of mob farm or anything like that where it doesn't move and all it does is attack, or something along that lines, is you could do like one piece of coal and, you know, it would be enough. So yeah, so then you can do let's see, I don't remember if it'll, okay, it does do it. Okay, cool. So this is the API available for turtles, which API, if my memory serves me right, stands for Application Programming Interface. So it's basically saying that you don't have to do all these nitty-gritty different functions. It's already got functions built into it to where you tell it to do something, and then behind the screen it actually does all the stuff to make it work. So here's all the different functions: forward, back, up, down, self-explanatory. It's the movement. Turn left, turn right, we'll turn it left or right. The select will select which slot you want. So, and I believe this is slot 1 and this is slot 16 down here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, so on until you get to 16. So you type select and then the number, so if you wanted this slot, it would be select 2 in where slot num is. Get item count, kind of the same thing. It gets you the item, the amount of items in the selected slot number or in that slot number. So for example, if you wanted to write a script to where if this slot is empty, you moved it from 2, you could use get item count and then put in a 1 and it would return the number. So you would do a sequence of, if this is equal to 0, then select this slot and then move it to this and so on. Get item space is going to return the number of items that are left in order to make a full stack. So if I did get item space on slot 1 right now, it would return 63, saying you'd need 63 items more to make this a full stack. The dig will break a block and pull it into the inventory. Dig up, dig down, same thing, it's just up, down. Place, same. It'll place a block based on whatever is currently selected. So whatever you have the selected slot at, if there's an item in there, it will place. If there is no item in your inventory on that slot, it will return false. Attack, again, self-explanatory. Attack, up, down. It hits things. I do believe this only will return true if it's a mob. Like, I believe there's a separate, you would have to actually go in and code manually for it to like attack other players or something along that line. I believe it's only able to attack mobs. Like if you tell it to attack right now, it should return false if my memory serves. Detect up and down will return true or false based on if there's a block in front of it. Well, you talked about that briefly a minute ago about using detect commands. Compare is a little bit more complicated. It essentially is like I have dirt in this slot right now. So if I told it to compare up, down, or forward, it would compare whatever those blocks are to whatever is in the selected slot number. So like right now, actually, this would return false if I told it to compare down, forward, or up, because these are air blocks, and then underneath it is a grass block, which technically is a different block in Minecraft. So you would have to have this in here, and then if I told it to compare down, it would come back true. Compare to is where I believe it compares the front. Or, no, wait. Actually, I think this compares the current slot number to whatever slot number you specify. So I could have this in here and tell it compare to 2, and it would compare the selected slot, which is 1, to 2, and come back false. I think. I'm pretty sure. I haven't used that command very much, so I'm a little rusty on that. Transfer, again, you're going to tell it what slot number to transfer and how much. So if I wanted this over here, it's transfer to 3 and 1, and it would move that grass block over there. Some, again, handy for refueling. If you have it set up to where slot 1 is the fuel, and you could have fuel checks to where if it runs out of fuel, you know, move another stack of coal over to slot 1, that kind of thing. Drop, again, kind of self-explanatory. You know, it drops a block out the front or up or down, depending on how you want to do it. Suck is, it's basically going to pull in a block around it in the front, up on top of it or below it. Some of the commands are a little bit more useful for things like chess, because if like it kills a mob, like our mob farm that we have, if you've been watching our FTB Let's Plays, the mob farm, when it kills skeletons and stuff, it still picks up their drops anyway. So loose items, usually this doesn't matter. The suck commands are more for chests or barrels or things of that nature, where the item is stored and not loose out in the world. Here's the one I told you about, get fuel level. So if you're in Lua and you don't want to exit, you can do it this way. And it'll come back with the number. So you can do it that way. It's user preference. And again, here's the refuel. You can call it outside of Lua, and you can just tell it refuel. It uses 1, refuel all uses any or all. So you can also do it this way, which whatever the currently selected is, you can do refuel and specify the quantity. And the craft command does say it requires a crafty turtle, so you need to make a crafting table for this to be relevant. And actually, I've read about this, but I haven't really dealt much with it per se, so I don't really know all the ins and outs of that. So yeah, so like, for example, we had talked about before, you know, to be honest, I don't remember what that command was, though. And you can always call this back up if you need it, or use the wiki, obviously. Transfer, that's what I was looking for. Transfer to slot num and then quantity. So, for example, let's put this in there. So we're going to do turtle transfer to, and then slot 4. Oh, yeah, that's fine. And then 1. That's not what I meant to do, but we'll roll with it. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm not in Lua. Okay, that makes sense. There. See, so you're transferring whatever the currently selected is to the slot, and then how many. Now, you can also change the selected. I think it's select. I'm not sure on this. We're going to try it. Yeah, okay. So and you'll notice that it's returning true. So that's very useful for writing your own scripts, because you can check things and check to see whether or not they worked, and you can set up if conditions. So it did select this item, so now we can do, let's do compare to, and then let's compare it to the grass. Oh, typo. There. And see, it returns false because it's not grass. So, one, and we'll move 5 of them. And see, that moves 5 items from the selected slot. So it's pretty useful when you start working with your own stuff, because it lets you navigate the inventory system fairly well. And to me, this kind of functionality right here is what really opens up the turtles for doing a lot, because you can set it to compare whether it's a certain ore, whether it's not, yada yada yada. Now, one thing that I actually forgot to mention, which is very important. Oh, and to exit Lua, you need the the parentheses, the braces. One thing that's very important is, I don't know if it's still accurate or if they patched it, but it's better safe than sorry. Computers in Computercraft, if you break them, they lose their programs. So for computers, it's very good to have a disk drive, and then you can tell the computer to copy your stuff over to this drive, or just write on the disk drive directly and then run it onto the computer and so on. For turtles, I was informed, but again, this might have been patched, but it's really not a big deal, or not hard to fix. But I was informed that eventually the pick will break if they're not labeled. So if I just use this turtle right now and tell him to go dig a huge mine, I've been told eventually that the pick will break. Also, if something happens to the turtle and he gets picked up, any scripts that I've written on the turtle that are not saved on a disk or something, the turtle will lose it. The one way that I know to fix this, if we go to help, oop, what is that? Oh, that's just the help programs, my bad. There's a label command here. So what you want to do, you can look at the label API too. It's got other functions. Label get prints the label, set, and you can do label set and then a name, and then it will set the label of the computer, which is what we want to do. And then label get left prints the label of the disk in the left of the drive. That's if you have a disk tray or a disk drive off to the side. And usually these places where it says left, you can rotate out different sides. So you can do right, you can do up. I think it's right, up, back, front, and bottom, I believe, is the names of the sides. So like label clear left will clear the yeah. So what we want to do is label set, and this will change the name of the turtle so that he'll save any future programs that we do during this series, and it will keep track of other stuff too. But I was also told that when you label the turtle, for whatever reason, it keeps the pick indefinitely, so it never breaks. I don't know if that part's true or not, but again, it's a good idea to label your turtles anyway. Let's see, since all of my turtles have been turtle names, I found that ironic. We're going to call this one Shredder. Hehe. Just because we can. So now he's Shredder. Okay. Now, one of the other commands is ID, and you'll see this is computer number 27, and it's labeled Shredder. Now, one thing about the computer IDs that I found out, because I don't think we have 27 computers between all of the three of us on the server, because I have a couple, Jesse has a couple, and Adrian doesn't have any. So I'm pretty sure that if you place a computer and you don't label it and then you break it and you place it again, it makes a new ID number. So that happened a lot here and there as we all were moving different places and whatnot, so I believe that's why it says that there's 27. Now the ID is somewhat important. The label in the ID is good to either remember or remember this ID command so you can find it, because when you get into the actual wireless functions of the turtles, that allows you to isolate where messages are coming from over the RedNet, which RedNet is this program you use for doing wireless. So you can basically check when a turtle or computer receives a message over the RedNet. You can check to see where it's coming from, because there is in RedNet there's a broadcast command which will just go out to any and all. Wow, my frames are chugging. It'll just go out to any and all open RedNet panels here, open modems. So essentially what you want to do is you want to know what the IDs of your computers are that are going to be sending signals out, or the labels at least, so that you can check and make sure that it's coming from the computer that you want and not like somebody else's computer that they're talking to other things and it's making your turtles do stuff. But that's more complicated stuff. We're not there yet. So yeah, that'll about wrap it up for this episode. Hope you guys like it. If there's anything you think of that would make it better or things you want to know about specifically, go ahead and leave a comment or message or something along that lines. Let me know. And I'll try and do it. Again, I don't know how much of the series I'm going to be doing right now. It's kind of just a placeholder because we're having some technical difficulties getting everybody back on the server. But, so yeah. Yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye!